Makita, it's really great to have you here with us. We are just so excited to hear what 4-H was like for you as you experienced it when you were younger. Um, and so we just would like to hear a little bit about you. Would you mind playing a little game with me?
Sure.
Awesome. This game is called Two Truths and a Lie. This is a game we play often where you tell three facts, two things that are true about you, and one thing that possibly could be true, but I wouldn't know that without getting to know you better.
Um, I'll start. So, I am fluent in multiple languages. I have read hundreds of Star Wars books, and I designed a centrifuge.
Ooh, those all are very true. You said you know several languages?
Yes.
Hmm. Several meaning more than seven. I'm gonna say that's the lie. And you know some languages.
So, I'm only fluent in English,
The technical word of fluent it got me caught up.
but I have also done like 5 years of German, a semester of Russian, and
Wow.
I've learned a bit of a couple of other languages on the side.
No big deal. I just a few languages on the side. Wow, that is cool. Well, could you say, hi, my name is Makita in German?
Hello. Uh, oh, I'm mixing them together.
That would
Hello.
be the hardest.
Hello, ich heiße Makita.
Very cool. I don't know German, so I'm going to assume that that was correct and that it was super impressive.
The literal translation is hello, I am called Makita.
Oh, interesting. Well, that's awesome. So you've read tons of Star Wars books and you've created a what?
The centrifuge.
A centrifuge. I don't even know what that is.
It spins in a circle really fast.
Oh, okay.
I designed it for a grad student as a research opportunity freshman year
Hmm.
at MIT. Uh, the grad student wanted to use it to study how hypergravity affects boiling water.
Wow. That's incredible. That was really cool to hear. Well, awesome. That was really fun to get to know you better and kind of put kind of a personality behind the face. Would you just kind of introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your history with 4-H?
Yes, so I, I'm Makita Ernie. I'm currently a third year undergrad in mechanical engineering at MIT. I grew up in Davis County. I started 4 H by doing fair projects with the encouragement of my parents at the youngest age that I could join 4 H. I ended up submitting multiple projects every year until the end of high school into the fairs. And
Wow,
I also eventually went on to become a state ambassador candidate.
that's awesome. Those state ambassadors, they do a lot of work. And you just try to, it just, the process to become a state ambassador is a lot of work. Well, that's awesome. Sounds like you've been a part of 4-H for a long time. What's one of the first things, what's one of your first memories you have about participating in 4-H?
One of the first things I remember about being part of 4 H was doing wood projects and learning how to use a wood shop with my dad.
That's awesome. So were your parents your club leaders?
Yes.
Very cool. Um, tell me so that's your earliest memory. Tell me some of your favorite experiences or memories of 4-H.
Uh, one of my favorite memories was just all of the friends I made throughout the state during the state level retreats. I actually quickly earned the nickname of Star Wars for my
I
knowledge of Star Wars.
wonder why.
Uh, one of my
That's
favorite
awesome.
one of my favorite opportunities that I had was being a state ambassador candidate. It, there was a lot of mutual support between us, and it was actually a really good learning experience, even just applying.
Yeah. Oh, I believe it. I believe it. Well, those are awesome, awesome memories. Maybe I'll call you Star Wars from here on. um, let's pretend that we have a green carpet all spread out, and we've invited you to earn a 4-H award. As you're standing there in front of the microphone holding your 4-H award, who would you mention in your acceptance speech?
I would definitely mention my parents and all of the friends that I've made throughout 4-H.
Those are great nominees. I think I think every youth walks away with a greater understanding of relationships, whether it be with their own family members or with new friends that they make through 4-H, because you're just so dependent on working with, as a team with other people and growing together. Awesome. So you mentioned that your parents were your club leaders. Um, what would you have to say about the mentor position? Like, what makes a good mentor in your mind?
A good mentor, I think, is someone that nudges you into improving, learning from your mistakes, and doing more to help yourself and your community.
I like that. That's great. Definitely important to share on with our volunteers as we hold volunteer trainings. That's what the youth recognize in a good leader. Thank you. Um, so how many years were you a part of 4-H?
I have no idea.
That many.
It,
Uncountable, huh?
from from the first time that I could actually join 4-H to when I graduated high school.
So at least 10 years. You probably were involved as even as a clover bud.
Yeah,
And those clover buds are from ages 5 to 7. Wow, that's really cool. So after all that time in 4-H, what skills or characteristics do you feel like you have today thanks to your involvement with 4-H?
I think one of the most important skills that I learned at 4-H was how to lead. The leadership experience that you get out of it is very useful when you, say, find yourself and leading a group project for a class or in the real world. Um,
Yeah, that's really great. Thank you. Um, what were there any like specific leadership positions you had that you felt kind of gave you the strongest push to gain those characteristics or skills?
like I said earlier, I think one of the biggest ones was literally just going through the application process to be a state ambassador. I had to practice so much for that.
Yeah, tell me a little bit more about what it takes to become a state ambassador. What did you have to be a part of? What did you have to do to even get into that process?
Uh, you you have to have some previous experience, and then they help you learn to be better. You have to practice a lot. You have to like lead workshops and stuff.
A lot of interviewing, a lot of public speaking, right?
Yes.
I'm sure there are things like being a part of your team council that helped kind of get you in those positions to lead without having the spotlight directly on you if you don't want it. Um, I'm sure there's other things like project ambassadors if you were like you're really into science and technology, um, the STEM subjects. Maybe for another youth who's interested in the same area as you were, it'd be good for them to be a project ambassador, like a STEM ambassador, to give them some experience to become maybe a state ambassador candidate.
So what I did for like some of the workshops that I planned is I took a concept like leadership and then I related it directly to science,
Hmm.
or I used science related things so I could talk about STEM at the same time as I talk about leadership. So it's like, for example, for one of my workshops, I used corn cornstarch and water, which has many names, uh, but it's a non-Newtonian fluid. It changes uh, whether it's a solid or liquid based on the amount of force applied. And I was able to tie that into a surprising number of topics.
That's awesome. Way to loop it all together. That's really great. Um, well, let's kind of wrap things up a little bit. What would you say to a youth or a parent attempting or wanting to get involved with 4-H, but having some hesitations or not feeling like they're willing to, like it's too big of a commitment?
So I would just tell them to join 4-H. It can be as much of a commitment as you want it to be. Uh, Through the county and state fairs, you can learn how to become better at things that you want to do. And then through like camps, retreats, councils, and ambassadors, you can gain experience with the soft skills that you'll be using throughout the rest of your life.
Awesome. All right, now I'm going to ask you the hardest question of all. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Do you still remember the 4-H pledge and can you recite it?
Remember it? Yes. Remember it in the correct order? Maybe not. That's a lot harder to get it to synchronize over Zoom with all the latency and lag.
Agreed. Well, I think we did a good job given the current situation. Well, awesome. Makita, is there anything else you'd like to share with our 4-H viewers and encourage them to stay on the 4-H path?
I cannot think of any good words of advice off the top of my head. Do you have any additional questions for me?
I don't think so. I just hope that you continue to reflect upon your 4-H experiences and see how, and draw those connections to see how they are continuing to boost you in the right direction that you want to go. It's really great that you're a student at MIT, and we wish you the best of luck in your educational pursuits. And we are excited to see all the great things you'll do from here on.
Thank you.